This one I wanted to watch. Horrible streamer so unprofessional. Horrible streamer tragedy by PyroLIVE or PyroCynical. Well, disclaimer, this has some heavy topics of people dying. If you are not comfortable with that, please leave. But yeah, we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at this.
Small disclaimer, this video isn't going to be the laugh out loud hilarious slop that you usually see on this channel. This isn't like a typical internet happening where Mr. Breast released a new skibbity toilet chocolate bar and 5 people didn't like it.
There was a skibbity toilet chocolate bar. What the fuck? That is interesting.
This is actually an altercation that happened between 2 streamers, and it ended up with one of them losing their life. Now, as we know, internet drama is basically an inevitability.
I have seen a little bit on Twitter, but that's about it. I've seen a little bit of Twitter on Twitter. That is really all there is to it. Apparently, it was 2 smallest streamers having beef.
As soon as you put yourself out there on the internet, you will always have a group of people that just do not like you.
They are all
You know, maybe this might evolve.
Another reason why I do not want to be known and want people to know what I look like. Because there will be some mongoloid who deep down wants to annihilate me. Another reason.
Into something else, maybe a boxing ring match where people punch each other. Something which I now feel like every 3rd YouTuber has tried at least once. But thankfully, rarely any of these confrontations actually spill out into the real world and actually become so bad that 2 people end up losing their lives over it. Now, I do need to disclose that the 2 people...
Hold up, now it's 2 people. Did both streamers die? Hold up.
People involved in this, Finny and Manny, the streamers, they were never like enormously huge content creators. Finny's channel has around 4,000 subscribers, and that's why covering this has been really difficult because this wasn't an incredibly famous content creator.
This is just 2 little dudes. Okay. For some odd reason, small content creator beef is like much more intense than big content creator beef, because like often a lot of it, like a lot of the big content creator beef is kind of fake. With like the small content creators, that's not really the case. It's really weird. It's really weird. There's a bunch of I've seen a bunch of like smaller creators go after bigger creators and talking about them for like 2 years straight and like never letting go and saying that they're gonna find them and shit. It's like crazy. Some of these a lot of these, I'm not like that, but some of these small creators, they take this way too serious.
The details are really sparse what's actually happened. And on top of this as well, the other streamer, Manny, has actually had his entire channel taken down by YouTube. Meaning, again, a large chunk of information and context to what's happened has just been lost to time. So the main thing we can only really run off here is Finny's account of the story. So a streamer by the name of Finny the Legend starts his live stream in Las Vegas. This was on the 8th of June. And something really quite haunting about the stream as well. When he starts it, there's a Queen tribute actually playing Bohemian Rhapsody in the background.
What the fuck? What? Bohemian Rhapsody? If you don't know, that song pretty much is about a young guy deleting another guy. That's incredibly ironic. What the fuck? That is crazy. Yeah, it's like, I have to say this. A lot of songs nowadays where like people like and like really catchy, they kind of have a dark theme and people really don't think about what they're hearing. And like sometimes I see like these compilations on like TikTok where people listen to song lyrics and then realizing what they actually mean, and like some of this is actually there's some songs that are like really popular but they're really dark. Nobody talks about that.
And if you're unaware, the context of Bohemian Rhapsody is a song about a young man who kills another man, and then he's reflecting on what his life will be like after the murder. You can literally hear the lyrics in the background. Like when he boots up the stream, you can even hear it being said, "If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on. Carry on as if nothing really matters."
It ain't what we thought.
And for everything that happened during this stream...
Bro, that is incredibly weird. What a weird coincidence.
That is a horrifying coincidence. Now, Finney is actually from Arizona. He's just visiting Las Vegas, where another streamer who Finney has a rivalry or beef with actually lives there. Now, this other streamer who's based in Las Vegas is called Sin City Manny Wise. Now, there is a lot of beef between these two, which I will get into in a little bit, but Manny is definitely not Finney's biggest fan. In fact, when Finney actually went to Las Vegas, Manny started up a live stream trying to essentially hunt him down.
I'm out here searching for my baby. I went through every casino there is. I heard there's one of my biggest fans here in town.
Bro, that's dedication. that's dedication. But you're fucking weird. If you hunt somebody down, somebody else, that's kind of, you're a fucking weirdo.
I'm dying to see him. I'm dying to see him.
Later on that day, around 10 p.m., Finney and his wife, who goes by the name Bubbly, headed down to the Bellagio fountains.
Oh no. Oh no. I think I have the feeling who's the other victim. I think I have a feeling who's the other victim. Oh no. It's the wife, isn't it? Oh no, it's the wife. Oh no. Over YouTube beef, and she didn't even have anything to do with it. Oh my god, nah.
On the Vegas Strip. Now, this is one of the most visited areas in pretty much all of Las Vegas. There are these massive spurts of water shooting up and surrounded by an even bigger man-made lake. And they even do musical performances there sometimes that are synced up to the fountains. It's a really iconic location that a lot of people, when they go to Vegas, they'll get pictures there. And since Finney was streaming himself going by these fountains with his wife, that put a massive red arrow on his location. And for Manny, who at the same time was trying to hunt down Finney, he basically knew exactly where he was now. Now, I'm not going to show the entire clip of the confrontation. That's for obvious reasons and also, you know, respect to the victims. But I will try to basically explain what went down. So at this point, Finney is talking to his live chat. He's got about 300 concurrent viewers. And it seems at this point that people are having a pretty good time. You know, he's laughing, taking in some of the sights of Vegas. But then you hear the voice of a woman that catches Finney's attention. And then she starts saying, "Bring your ass over here. We ain't starting now, shit." And then you can see both of them enter the frame.
The heck? Wait, there's a second woman? Is it this dude's wife? Well, this is Finney's wife, right?
Now, I don't have complete and total confirmation here, but I'm 99% sure that that is Finney's wife, Bubbly, from looking in the past live streams, because they have the same hairstyle and they look kind of similar, but again, can't 100% confirm that. Now, Bubbly is standing in between Finney and Manny, blocking Manny trying to get to Finney. Now, I don't actually think Finney identified who Manny was straight away because there's like a bit of a delayed reaction there. But when he does, Finney says, "Oh, what's up, bro?" And then as he finishes his sentence, Manny pulls out a gun and fires 5 bullets into Finney.
What the fuck is wrong with this dude? What the heck? Over YouTube? Over YouTube? Over beef on the internet? I wonder what went down between these two. But then again, this other dude's... What the fuck?
When this happens, of course, Bubbly looks incredibly shocked, grabs the camera, and then we hear 2 more shots as she screams, drops the camera, and falls silent. By the time police arrived, Manny already fled.
What the fuck? What the heck? Yeah, I think the second victim is the wife, 100%. 5 is a bit over. That's not just... 1 is already too much. 1 is already too much. Over YouTube?
Fled the scene, but we learn about what happened with a press interview with the sheriff of the Metropolitan Police Department. There's a man called Andrew Walsh, and the first responders to the scene were police officers. They were basically on patrol at the time, they heard the gunshots, and then rushed over, and they discovered both Finney and Bubbly lying on the ground with bullet wounds. They tried to administer first aid, but unfortunately the injuries were too severe, and they both passed away.
And they found 2 victims who were laying on the sidewalk.
Oh my god, oh my god, no. No. Oh no. Oh no. She probably tried to protect her husband and got in the way. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. That is oh wow. Bro had a really good wife. That is crazy. She got into the way to protect her husband, likely. Oh my god.
suffering from apparent gunshot wounds.
Now, at the time of recording, the police have not officially identified the two people as Finney and Bubbly, but Walsh does actually state that he believes that they've identified the perpetrator that was a result of Finney and Manny's internet feud.
At this point, we believe we have the suspect identified and that this is an isolated incident, knowing that the suspect and the victim had previously engaged in some type of conflict using a variety of social media platforms.
He then ends the press conference by saying to anyone that has more information, please come forward. And then on the following day, the 9th of June, Manny handed himself into police custody. So yeah, as you can see, this is like a really heavy situation to talk about. And you might be wondering, what kind of beef did they actually have?
That is insane. She probably got in the way. Protect her husband from what? The gunshots. I mean, she immediately jumped in the way the moment this other dude pulled up, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if she jumped in the way if she got in the way when he fired the bullet into her husband. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. That is crazy.
Ended up with two people losing their lives over it. According to one of Finney's friends, they've basically said that the beef these two have had has been going on for years.
This brewed for 2 years.
And unfortunately, again, because Manny's channel has been deleted by YouTube, there really isn't too much to work with here to find out how deep this rabbit hole goes. So obviously take all of this with a pinch of salt, but the narrative that I've been seeing people running with online is that Finney, Bubbly, and Manny at one point were all friends. Maybe not friends, not super close, but they didn't have like a bitter rivalry between each other. According to Finney's friend, again, this good relationship they had basically broke down after Manny pepper sprayed Bubbly.
I was saying, I'm just glad it was pepper spray and it wasn't bullets.
And
what the huh? Wait, so this started? Why would you randomly pepper spray somebody else? There had to have been something going on. This is why gun has to be illegal. Even if gun was illegal, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, if you want to get a gun, you will get a gun. Like, it happens here in Germany also. If you want a gun, you will get a gun. At that point, if you want to kill somebody, you will kill that person. Whether there's guns or not.
Why he did this, the context, we don't know, but it seems to have basically set the stage for their hatred of each other. Now, one thing we do know for a fact is that Manny did have a much larger following than Finney. Although the channel, like I said, was taken down, there are archives of it and search results and caches basically showing that the Sin City Manny Wise channel had over 14,000 subscribers. And the Sin City family account actually had over 46,000 subscribers. And this is where apparently Finney saw this as an opportunity to start hitting Manny where it hurt, his YouTube audience. So some weeks, Finney would basically host a live stream where he'd begin to attack Manny. If you look at the live tab on his channel, you can basically see that every stream title has Sin City Family or SCF on it.
What the heck? What the heck? Bro, this is all over YouTube. This is just because of YouTube. This is literally just because of YouTube beef. But look at he's not even, like, he's doing really well. I mean, he gets like 300 live viewers. He gets like almost 10k views each like stream or each video. He was doing quite good. Without a gun, there are chances you will try with your hands and one fail to notice what you're doing since it's a long process. Gun button to kill. Yeah, but instead you get a knife. You just get a knife in this case. I mean, look at England. Look at my country. The amount of stabbings has increased significantly. In this case, you'll just get stabbed. So it literally does not even matter all that much.
And it wasn't him just criticizing Manny. He'd regularly platform other people as well, who also didn't like Manny. From looking at it though, it doesn't seem that Finney was like mindlessly hating on Manny, but actually been pointing out other things that he'd been accused of in the past. Like, for example, apparently how Manny allowed a woman to expose herself on camera when she was drunk, and while doing that, grabbing her breasts, despite the fact at the time he was married to another woman. Now, even though Finney was a much
Ugh, that's already really scummy. Overall, this dude is just really bad. I'm not saying it's impossible to kill someone with a toothpick, but with downgrade the weapon, the more harder it is, the chance the attacker will back off is higher, especially for random beef. I guess so, the chance is higher, but again, I could tell you, you take away guns, and immediately some other way of deleting people just jumps up. You're literally not escaping it. And even, like I said, even if you wanted a gun, you could have one almost in every country. I don't know how much you know, but in Austria there has been a school shooting recently. If you want a gun, you will get one, regardless.
Smaller creator, he would regularly pull in on average around 10,000 views. And by the look of it, this really angered Manny because according to reports, he was losing subs from this. His audience slowly stopped watching him and they went to go and watch Finney instead. So in an attempt to squash Finney, Manny basically started copyright striking his videos. Manny actually did submit 2 successful copyright claims on Finney's channel. There's 2 videos here. Who said my channel was going away? And P Manny, nobody likes you, liar. You didn't get my super chats, stupid. Taking both of those videos down successfully and giving his channel 2 copyright strikes. For those who don't know, when you get 3 copyright strikes, that basically means your channel is either going to get taken down or it starts this timer before your channel gets taken down. Now, from what I understand, looking into it, these seem to be false strikes. Manny was basically abusing the system to try and silence Finney's criticism. Finney might have reacted to a video of Manny's, which he had every right to do so, but Manny saw this as an opportunity to strike his channel and jumped on it. But obviously YouTube has got slightly better over the years, so these strikes were deemed false and they were like,
so Finney was criticizing Manny. Manny was copyright striking Finney, and let me guess, instead of Finney letting it die down, he struck back and copyright struck Manny. That is my idea. Right, but human being live before guns, and guns do help the process easy and smooth. Yeah, but also I have to say this. A lot of robberies in countries where guns are allowed are unsuccessful because of guns. There's a lot of robberies that if the person living in that house didn't have a gun, they would have either get robbed or would have died. There's always 2 sides of the coin, right? On one side, guns cause innocent to die. On the other hand, you have guns protecting people from dying. There's always 2 sides to it. We don't have much guns here, but people still die a lot because everyone uses knives. That's the same here too. Or a car. For some odd reason, cars have become very popular. Cars have become very popular around in Europe. Yeah, exactly. It's not the weapon, it's the person holding it, yep. I think the process of getting a gun should probably not be as simple. So that people who are unfit to have a gun should not have a gun. I think the process of getting access to it should be made more difficult. I can get along with that.
Quickly reverted. But having the strikes removed wasn't enough, so in retaliation, he actually started to try and strike Manny's channel. And it does sound like these were in favor of Vinny, because you can see here, he wasn't actually going to send a 3rd strike to take down Manny's channel, citing Manny's extremely poor mental health as a driving factor.
We all laugh and joke, but mental illness is real, and we can clearly see this guy is mentally ill. So one thing about it, that's why I want to put it on y'all too. If he give us another strike and I got 3, y'all know that channel mean everything to him. He don't got no outside friends, nothing. I don't think I could do it in my heart. And I'm saying this on live so he can hear it too.
So now you know the context. This had been a rivalry that had been going on for quite some time. From Finney basically having weekly rent sessions smearing his name, to Finney building his platform, mostly from how much people disliked Manny. All of that led up to a bursting point, and that's obviously when the really fatal incident happened in Las Vegas. So the big question that people are wondering now is, what happens next? Well, since Manny, like I said earlier, actually handed himself in, the manhunt's ended. He'll most likely be in prison for the rest of his life. From what I've seen, especially in the clip where he talks about basically hunting Finney and his wife down, prosecutors will have a really easy case here for premeditated 1st-degree murder.
Just know instigators get this too.
And as well, in the state of Nevada, where this act was actually committed, first degree can get you some really bad sentences.
I'm gonna predict the deletion penalty. 30 years in prison, 50 years in prison.
I mean, you can just straight up get the death penalty. You can get the death penalty if the aggravating circumstances outweigh the
Close enough, close enough. Close enough, I was close enough.
mitigating circumstances, or life in prison without any possibility of parole after 20 years, or 50 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. I mean, even if he gets like a lesser sentence, like 20 years, his life is still over. And on Finney's side of the story, because obviously he was a victim behind this, he'll be leaving friends, family, and more importantly, children, because...
Oh no, he had kids too? Oh no, they're orphans now! He had kids too! Oh no.
From the interview that Fox Vegas did with the friend, we actually learn, unfortunately, that Finney and Bubbly had children, and now they're basically orphans. But that's pretty much the whole update on that. Usually I end with like a funny bit or something, but it's just sad. It's just a really sad situation.
That was terrible. That is, there's not even much to say. That is terrible that happened. That over YouTube, that shouldn't even be a thing. That shouldn't even be a thing. That is, nah, dude, nah, over YouTube, you, like, jail, never let this dude out again. I'm gonna be honest, straight up jail. Over YouTube is crazy. That is just nuts. Over something so insignificant. Like I said, the wife had nothing to do with it, and the kids are now orphans. That is crazy. Man, that sucks.